Picking up from last week, we're going to start, as we always do, with the DXY. Now, as we can see with the DXY, and we're looking at this on the daily time frame, as we can see with the DXY, is that we have a bit of a push to the upside right now. Okay, so we have a bit of a push to the upside. There was a zone that I marked out in last week's video that was of an area of interest to us. Right, so there was an area that I marked out in last week's video, and that was this zone right here. Okay, and this is where I thought where price is making his way up towards, and as we can see, we're kind of getting that move ever so slightly in terms of what the DXY is doing. So it's moving slowly into that zone. Now, should price make his way into this zone, this is where I'll be expecting a rejection to push back down to the downside. Okay, and the opposite of that in regards to EURUSD would be that EURUSD pushes upwards, but we're going to get to the EURUSD part very shortly. Right now, also as we observe the DXY do what it's doing in terms of pushing to the upside, another level that we want to be mindful of is that we don't start to get closes above these levels over here. Okay, because that will signify, well, to me personally, that price plans on turning around and pushing to the upside. This is not the main confirmer, but however, this one is. This one is the one that will confirm that price is basically turning around. So you want to keep an eye on these two levels, right? As the DXY does what it wants to do, especially if it does not reject from this area and continues to push upwards. At the same time, should we get a rejection at this level and price moves down, okay, this is the level over here that we want to see taken out, because that too would then give us the confidence to say that price plans on continuing to push to the downside. So long as you're selling from up here, you get the close below this level over here, which is 95.22. that is a solid confirmation to say, hey, price plans on moving to the downside some more, and you can enjoy the journey to the downside. All right, so that's how everything looks in terms of what the DXY is doing now. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to jump into EURUSD, and that's going to give us a rough idea as to what to expect moving forward, right? So with EURUSD, we can see, just like the DXY, it is slowly trickling its way into this zone over here, right? It's slowly trickling its way into this zone over here. This is the level to tell us that price plans on flying all the way down. That level is 1.14, and this level up here is the level that says price wants to push up some more. But I highly doubt that will happen in this area, because this is a rejection of an FVG. So if I was to bring this in, and let's just add a little level here, so we can see all here is an FVG zone, right? It's easy to see. I don't need to zoom in that much, and I don't think I need to be that dead on accurate with that as well. You could do all of that in your own time on your own personal charts. Let's just have a quick look. Extend right, and let's see where this lands. So as you can see, it's a rejection of this FVG in this area, right? So I'm not really expecting price to push up some more, but however, we do have a scenario, right, where that could happen. So that is, price comes into this zone over here, okay, and then takes off, right? So that will be good, but then the main level will be this one over here, the one that I've pointed out, which would be 1.20. If price knocks that out, then obviously that FVG would have been violated, and then we can just expect price to continue its rise to the upside. This thing that I've just showed you here on EURUSD, you can find the opposite version of that on the DXY. So all it is you have to do is just go back to the DXY, okay, and I've already highlighted that FVG zone, and that's it right here. So price rejected off that. We want to see if it's going to go into this zone, reject off it, and then come back down. It closes below this level. This FVG has been violated, and price will be making its way down to 89.49. Right, this is based on the analysis that I've done. Once again, I do not profess to say I know it all. This is just my take on how market is behaving right now, what I see, what I'm expecting it to do, and how I plan to respond when certain opportunities presents itself. Right, so with that all said and done, the next one, the thing that we're going to look at right now is going to be gold, right? Now, obviously, as I'm sure you've all heard in the news, the Middle East is now back at war now. So it's back at war. So gold is going to be the safe havens where investors decide to run into. We already have a parabolic move to the upside. We already have a break of structure in this area right here. Okay, so that to me is confirmation to say that when market opens in the next few hours, we're going to get more of a continuation push to the upside. The FVG in this area has clearly been violated. That is this FVG right here. Okay, I didn't talk about that in last week's video, just because I just failed to mention it, so apologies on that. So we can see that price is clearly closed through it. So this FVG is totally irrelevant now, right? But we do have a bunch of FVGs in this area right here, right? We do have a bunch of FVGs in this area. And remember, we're looking at this on the daily time frame. So these FVGs are quite strong. They are very, very, very strong, and we need to keep an eye on them, right? So we had price come into this FVG in this area. So this was last week Tuesday, where price tapped it, came in, and it's now moving away. And we now have a breaker structure at the level of 5,252, right? And I believe it's going to continue, especially with this war, and it's not going to end today, right? And it's probably ain't going to end tomorrow, because it's basically they're just ramping it up. So it's just getting worse and worse and worse, right? It's unfortunate, but such is life. So as it stands, I'm expecting gold to push up higher. So with that in mind, this is what I will do. So I've already put on my fib level on already, right? And I've already marked out areas in case we get a pullback. So if you do get a pullback, this is what I'll be expecting. I'll be expecting price, it closes above, and then it just trickles all the way down, finds its way into the zone, right? I doubt that will happen, but if it did, then I'll be waiting in this zone for confirmation to say it wants to push up to the upside, and then I would ride price to the upside. Once again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do, right? I'm only pointing out how I see things. Now, at the same time, we want to be mindful about these two levels right here as well. So this level has a very low probability that price will return to that zone, and that is 4,403, right? I highly doubt gold price will ever come into this zone anytime soon, unless something insane happens. And if something crazy happens, it's flying off, right? So it's not going to come down here, but let's just keep an eye on it just for the sake of exercising best practices, right? And this is the side that I believe is absolutely going to be taken out very, very, very soon, and that is this level right here, and that will be 5,607. Right, so I believe in the coming days and weeks, we're definitely going to get a close above that level, and that is what we're waiting for. So when market opens at 11 p.m. GMT, I want to see the move that gold is about to do, and then based on that, I will decide how I'm going to enter the market, or if I'm just going to leave it and wait for market to kind of settle a little bit before I decide to jump in, right? So that's the gold side of things kind of taken care of. The next asset that we're going to look at right now is going to be NAS. Now with the NAS has been doing the same thing that he's been doing for the last couple of weeks now. Well, last couple of months. And to me, it's totally untradeable, right? It is untradeable. Can you, as a trader, trade what's going on in NAS right now? And the answer to that question is yes, you can, right? But through my trading history, I know what types of trades is good for me and what types of trades are bad for me. And I prefer trended markets to markets when they're going sideways. I do have a rough idea what to do in those situations, but in all fairness, unless I absolutely have to, I am not trying to trade a sideways market, and we can clearly see we have a sideways market here, right? So I'm going to be leaving this alone, right? I've marked out the levels of interest that we want to keep an eye on should market fulfill certain functions, and that is if we get a close below 23,847, I will then prepare to start taking shorts to the downside. And if we get a close above 26,292, I'll be expecting to take moves to the upside. I will then prepare, start, doing all of the best practices, all the cool things that we're supposed to do. I will start to prepare to make moves in the corresponding direction. But as it stands right now, this whole thing to me is not tradable at all, right? And I'll be staying away from it. And I wish you the best of luck if you decide that you're going to trade NAS, right? I wish you the best of luck with that. Finally, and last week I brought this in because what I was going to say on NAS was relatively short. As you can see, it was super short, right? There wasn't really much analysis on the NAS. It just is what it is. So I brought in oil. But today, however, bringing in oil has more of a justification just based on what is taking place right now in the Middle East, in the sense of the war that has just broken out, right? So as it stands, I am super bullish on oil because I believe oil is going to make its way to this zone, but I don't think it's going to reject downwards. I think it's going to keep pushing up. That's what I think is going to happen, especially if the war does not come to an end next week. So if no one declares a ceasefire next week, I'm expecting the price of oil to go parabolic. One of the reasons why I say I'm expecting the price of oil to go parabolic is that on X, because that's where I mainly look at, where I get the data from, etc. I find it more trustworthy, right? I find X more trustworthy place to get your information from, supposing to any other source, right? I don't know if it's just me, but I prefer it. So rumor, and this is all that it is right now at the timing of the recording and at the timing of me bringing that information over to you. So this is just a rumor, not being confirmed. I don't know. It could be lies. It could be true. I don't know. Rumor has it that Iran has decided that it's going to block off the Strait of Hormuz, right? And it's laying down mines between that little stretch of that body of water, right? And it's put on all forms of offensive hardwares in that region, making it impossible for ships to cross through. So that basically means that all of the oil and all of the stuff that we rely on will probably have to go over land, which means it's going to cost more, right? So because of that, I'm expecting oil to not only come into this zone, I'm expecting oil to knock out $80.55, which is this zone right here, and I'm expecting it to go even higher than that, right? Now the next level of this situation is that, for example, let's just say Iran decides to launch an offensive attack against the oil fields of Saudi Arabia. Then I will be expecting oil to close above $128 per barrel, at which point it's going to be unsustainable. And at that point, the war definitely would have expanded because a lot of countries will have a problem with that, right? Oil is getting way too expensive in order for the economies to function, and they're going to have to take action at the bare minimum to open up the Strait of Hormuz. But at the same time, where the oil comes from the Strait of Hormuz back into the rest of the world, right? These are all within striking distance of the Iranian missiles, right? So it could turn out to be a huge problem for us, right? So I'm kind of looking at this chart for oil as a nightmare scenario based on how this war basically moves forward, right? So if the Strait of Hormuz is indeed being blocked off and sealed, then I'm expecting oil to get as high as between $115 per barrel and $127 per barrel, roundabouts. That is what I'll be expecting, right? If the oil fields where oil is refined is attacked, on the other hand, then I'll be expecting oil to reach insane levels of $200 per barrel and above, at which point we might have bigger things to worry about than oil, money, etc. Right? So as it stands, if you plan on entering the market when market opens, I'm expecting oil to gap, so you might not even be able to catch it, right? You might not be able to catch it, but I'm expecting oil to gap. And as soon as peace is declared if peace is declared, if this war doesn't expand, right, then depending on where it is, if it's anywhere above $100, I would happily short it all the way back down to the respectable levels of around $55 per barrel. And this is where oil more or less kind of needs to be, between 70 and 50, right? So if it's up here, I'm prepared to short it all the way down, right? And if it goes higher, my main concern is not really about trading, is that it hasn't expanded, where it's reached a point where it literally can't be contained until one winner has been declared, and we all know what that situation is all about. That's the big one, the big fight, right? The big one. So I hope you don't get that far, but at the end of the day, I'm just a regular guy sitting behind a screen telling you guys my personal thoughts on this situation. So I will end this video here. I wish you guys the best with your trades, and if you are in the Middle East watching, do exercise caution, do be safe, and my prayers and thoughts goes out to you, right? My prayers and thoughts goes out to you, and I hope that you guys will be safe. If you're in the Middle East, if you're in the Western world and you are watching, you need to pray for the guys in the Middle East, because just because we're far away from the conflict, it doesn't mean it can't affect us. It can affect us, right? And if you are a trader, you should know that it can affect us. So you definitely want to be praying for peace. And with that said, I will see you all on the next one.